Welcome to the Stogie Geek Show, episode 90. This episode is sponsored by Mr. J. Havana Smoke Shop, located in Rhode Island. They have an outstanding selection of premium handmade cigars. And by the Havana Cigar Club, located in Warwick, Rhode Island, is a great place to enjoy a drink and a cigar. Stogie Geek listeners can find a $5 off coupon on our website by clicking the HCC logo. And by Debonair Cigars. Visit stogiegeeks.com/debonair for a list of retailers who carry Debonair cigars. Buy some today and get a little more debonair. And by Ocean State Cigars. Try the J Grotto series, including the Connecticut Shade Silk and limited edition J Grotto Reserva lines. Visit them on the web at www.oceanstatecigars.com for a full list of retailers near you. And now, live from Studio G, it's the Stogie Geek Show. We're very excited to be here tonight. We've got on the line, sitting right next to me is none other than Mr. Will Cooper.
Hey guys, I'll tell you what. First time all four of us are together, I just couldn't be happier. This has just been a great day. I mean,
we've been waiting for this day for a long time.
I know,
Will.
it's been overdue.
It's great.
It's the first of many. It's the first of
many.
many.
We're glad you could make the trip, and we're happy to have you in studio, of course.
Thanks for having me here. And the hospitality everyone showed me in town today has been second to none.
You're sleeping on the floor at Stogie Santa's house, but that's okay.
I'm staying at the workshop tonight.
Yeah. Ho, ho, ho.
Mr. Mark Jr. is here as well. Say hello, Mark Jr.
I'm staying silent tonight.
Yeah, apparently so. And Mr. Stogie Santa is in the house.
Good evening, and you too, ATL.
I am so glad we're here that we decided to do an Epic Smokes night.
Yes.
Yep. And so we're all smoking Epic Smokes and drinking some fine spirits. I, right before the show, decided to light up an Opus X Black Orchid from 2010, which I already smoked. So Will's like, I thought we were going to do our Epic Smokes on the show. I'm like, well, I'm just making it an Epic Smokes night.
Yes.
So that's what I smoked first. And then I lit up an Opus X Double Corona. To stick with the Opus X theme, I lit up an Opus X Double Corona from 07, which I'm smoking now, which is really, really, really good. I'll hold that up for the camera. Maybe Chris can switch to my camera as we each hold up our Epic Smokes Opus X Double Corona from 2007. Smoking fantastic. Will, what are you smoking?
Well, it was an Epic Smokes day. I mean, it originally started out with a Davidoff Colorado Claro Perfecto, and then it just got better and better. And now I'm kind of hitting it. I did an audible, so I had another Epic Smoke, but Paul handed me a bag of Epic Smokes, and I went for one of the best, the Padron 80th Maduro.
Hold that up a little closer to it. Yeah, there you go. Hold it up for the camera.
There we
very
go.
nice, very nice. Mr. Mark Jr.
I'm smoking a Don Carlos Lancero. It's actually my first one I've ever had.
Wow, nice, nice.
This gentleman to my right here gave me one for Christmas, and
hold that bad boy up for the camera.
It is nothing like the rest of the blend. I'm amazed. I love the blend. This is, a limited release.
You were saying that before. You were surprised
like
it was Don Carlos.
It's not creamy. It's not nearly as creamy, and it has much more pepper to it. So, interesting. Very, very, very surprising and awesome.
Nice. Mr. Stogie Santa.
2007 White Owl.
That's vintage. It's vintage.
No,
it's aged, guys.
I got Ernie's 2010 Limitado. It's one of my favorite smokes.
He couldn't wait to light it up. He lit it up about a half hour before the show.
Yeah. It had a serious ash going on it, too,
Oh,
which is awesome.
yeah.
It was awesome. What are we drinking tonight, guys?
In classic Stogie Geeks fashion, I am certainly going to demolish this name.
And this is before
French.
the bottle went down.
So it's Brenet. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it. But it's a single malt from France that's finished in cognac barrels. First time I've tried anything like it, to be honest with you guys.
Something unique.
Yeah, first time for all of us. It's a lot sweeter than a typical single malt.
Yeah,
huh?
it is. Yeah, it's got some sweetness to it. It's good.
Yeah.
It's got a nice vanilla flavor to it. Just before we get into our awesome interview that I'm super excited about, this segment is sponsored by Mr. J's Havana Smoke Shop, who on Monday, April 21st, will be hosting a cigar dinner at Melanzi's. First come, first served, 35 guest Mac. Tickets will be $50, includes a gourmet meal and 3 premium cigars. There's also one this coming Monday, right? April 7th, where Robert Wright will be there as well. Is you guys all right over there?
Yeah.
Trying to do the sponsor slot. You guys are laughing. It's very distracting.
What Robert Wright is nice enough to come down on Monday night. Yes, he is. Thank you.
The chat room is particularly active today.
Okay.
It's particularly active.
Gotcha. I'd like to now welcome our feature interview for the show, Mr. Jose Blanco from Las Cumbres Tabaco. Did I say that right, Jose?
That's right. You said it. You said it perfect, and it's always good to see a group of really passionate, young, talented people that are, making difference in our industry and social media. And it's my second time here, and it's always a pleasure to be with you guys. And I think, especially that Coop did a long ride just to be with you guys. I don't know if it was for the interview, if it's for the booze, if it's for the cigars. I'm not going to get into more details, but I know Coop made that.
Some things are better left unsaid.
Oh, God bless you.
So, Jose, since we last had you on the show, you made a decision to strike out on your own. You alluded to that the last time you were here. And so what ultimately led to you leaving Joya de Nicaragua, and then what are some of the things you're hoping to accomplish with your new company?
Well, I spent almost 30 years with Grupo Leon Jimenez. It was great. Like many people said, no, because I've talked about it. I was going to really retire, to be honest. I was already, I was in Sweden with my in-laws, and, after a month there, I got kind of bored, and then there was all these calls, different people and different companies. And I decided, as everybody knows, I've always been a big fan of Nicaraguan tobacco. And though going to a bigger company, I decided to go to Joya de Nicaragua. It's family-owned, like La Aurora was. It was a great experience being there. But after 2 years, I decided I wanted to come back to my roots, to Dominican Republic. And then I decided that it was time for me to, come up with my own company and continue to do what I've been doing for so many years. Now, in October, it'll be exactly 47 years that I've been smoking and very, close to tobacco. My grandfather and my great-grandfather were growers. My father grew tobacco. All my cousins grow tobacco. Hochi from Tabacalera Palma, which inherited, his father, his company, Tabacalera Palma, from 1936, which has been making some fabulous cigars. They got the aging room and the swag and all that is doing very good for boutique blends. And they were the #2 cigar that year. And, he grows. He's one of the biggest growers in Dominican Republic. He has 4 or 5 excellent farms. And when you're able to work with family and work with a guy that really knows tobacco, you have really, really a good opportunity. So I think it was time for me, to come up with my own brand. We've been working, we spent like 6 months working on the different blends and all that. And already we've been in production since the beginning of March. So we're giving the cigars like 90-something days, and then in first week of June, we'll start to ship.
So, Jose, tell us about the name Las Cumbres Tabaco.
Well, the name Las Cumbres comes. It was where my son and me and Emma, where we used to live in Managua. It was called Las Cumbres. So it was our son's first address. So, Emma came up with the idea of coming up with Las Cumbres. And then, the marketing side, you've seen it, the name Señorial, She came up with that concept. The painting was somebody related to us through the family did the painting, and a concept of an old street in San Domingo, and we wanted to make it, real classy, but also something different. I mean, the artwork, they're already printing that here at Cigar Rings. It's a beautiful band. We're working on a beautiful box too, and but most of all, even though all that is important and it really helps, but at the end of the day, it's the cigar, the social media, being out there, shaking hands, taking photos, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, having a good relationship with all the media that I've had for many, many years. So I think we're on the right track. And to be honest, it's a great cigar. I'm going to say it's not a great cigar. It's an amazing cigar.
So have you finalized the blend for the Sonorial?
Oh, yeah. Señorial has been in production since the first week of March.
Excellent. So what can you tell us about the blend?
Well, the blend is Habano, Ecuador, and then and the binder is Nicaragua, and then we have two fillers. It's Dominican Corojo and a true Piloto Cubano, all from Tabacalera Palma Farms. That is one of the things that I really appreciated a lot from Hochi, that he had this huge inventory of tobacco, and the tobaccos for this blend were put aside for Señorial. It's full body, full flavor, very rich, very complex. It's a cigar that will sneak up on you if you don't smoke it properly. I mean, it's a great cigar. I mean, I've made a lot of great cigars. I smoked a lot of great cigars, but I think this is probably the best cigar I've ever blended in my life.
So now, what sizes is this going to come in?
It's going to come in a Corona Gorda 5.5 by 46. It's going to be a Robusto 5.25 by 52. There's going to be a Toro 6 by 54. There's going to be a Legrand, which is a 6 by 60. And then there's going to be a 6.25 by 52. So 5 sizes in the beginning, and then we have something towards October that we're still working on. It's going to be special, but we're not allowed to talk about it yet.
Is it going to be a Lancero?
Got a fingers crossed.
No hablo inglés.
Gotta push the limits there.
So, Jose, what are the price points, like MSRP?
It's gonna be 7 to 11.
Okay. Nice. So, what are your plans out of the gate in terms of distribution and some of your immediate goals when you're taking on a project like this and starting your own company with your first blend?
Look, first of all, the majority of the people know that I've been a big supporter of a brick and mortar. I'm keeping it strictly on brick and mortar because they have always supported me. And it's not that I have anything against the internet. I have very good friends in Arthur, the people of Cigars International, the people of Holtz, all that. But I want to really come out with something that I want to give to the brick and mortar shops to, I'm not going to say to help out. I'll help them. They'll help me. But to really bring out with a product that's going to be strictly for them. I think a lot of them are going through tough times, and a lot of people already that have look, to be honest, there are people that are already put in orders of 40, 50 boxes. They haven't seen the cigar, they haven't seen the box, they haven't seen the band. But the first thing they asked me, okay, you're going to the catalogs and things like that. I said, look, I'm not going to the catalogs, I'm not going to the internet, anything like that. I don't know if maybe in the future there's another project that I could work out, but in the beginning this is strictly brick and mortar because I'm a big supporter of them.
Very much
So, Jose,
appreciated.
when you work with the retailers, and you're already taking orders from retailers, what information are you giving them that helps them sell your cigar?
Well, to be honest, I'll put it to you this way, because I've been around so long, for so many years, and I've worked with two great companies. and people have smoked a lot of the things that I've made. A lot of people have been to my seminars. I mean, the most important shops in the States, I've visited them at least, I would say, in all my traveling, maybe 15 or 20 times. The people that really make up the numbers, the people that, at the end of the year, there are people that are buying, 30, 40, 50, $60,000 a year from you, people that support you. So I've always worked very close with the majority of the great shops. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of B stores, C stores that will also carry my product because they have always been supportive. I will always be there. I will doing events. We'll continue doing the blending seminars because I think that's one of the things that our industry unfortunately lacks a lot. And anybody who's been to my seminar always remember that I say, what's the difference between our industry and the wine industry? Well, the difference is that for every book that's been written about cigars, there's 1,000 books written about wine. For every DVD that's been made about cigars, there's about 5,000 DVDs made about wine. We have a great industry. We have passionate people. To me, I think the biggest industry in the world is our industry. And I'll tell you why. Because you have a guy in the shop smoking a $3 bundle. You have a lawyer smoking a $50 cigar. You have an IT guy smoking a $20 cigar. You have another guy smoking a $10 cigar. And you're not judged by the color of your skin, your religion, beliefs, or what you do. I think that's the only industry in the world where we all sit down together, 10, 12, 15 people to smoke around and shoot the breeze and all that. And nobody's criticizing anybody because of what you're smoking or how you're smoking or with who you're smoking. So that's one of the big things that our industry has. And I think that's why our industry is so unique.
Now, Jose, is there a particular target market that you're going after for your cigar? Is there a particular category of smoker that you're going after for your cigar?
Look, I learned a long time ago that if you try to make a cigar that everybody's going to like, you wind up making a cigar that nobody loves.
Yep.
There is no cigar in the world that you could go out, give it to 100 people, and 100 people are going to like it. The way the industry works, and everybody has different standards, when you're making a cigar and you send it out to 20 people, if you get 12 or 13 people to like the cigar, you know that you're on track. Now, if you send it to 20 people and 2 people like it and 18 say no, even if it's a great cigar, don't do it. And at the end of the day, also, if every manufacturer were to make only what we like and the sizes we like, we wouldn't be talking tonight.
Right. Now, let's see. Will, you had a question about the next question on here about cigar distribution for Russia.
Yeah, so I've heard, Jose, that there's been some talk, and I haven't asked you this before, but when I was doing some research for the show, there's been some talk that you actually blended a cigar for distribution in Russia. Is that true, and what can you share about it?
Okay, let me explain this so people understand. My wife used to work for Swedish Match, and I met her father before. She used to be the marketing and sales manager from Russia all the way down to Macedonia. She worked for Swedish Match about 6 years. My father-in-law is part owner of a company in Russia, a big distribution company called Neska. So when I was at ADN, what happened was they asked me to blend a cigar for them. And it took time because, sometimes things are slow in Russia. You got to get permits. You got to get this. I mean, it's a lot of, bureaucracy and a lot of things go on. It's like, it's like in trying to get, I don't know what's really hard to get in the States. Well, that happened in Russia. What happened was that after I left, that's when the product arrived there. They had some problems with the bands, and they had something with the boxes. But it's true, I blended the cigar, and they ordered, and they're starting to sell it there. And there's even some people that have tried it in Russia, and there's some other countries in Europe that have been asking for it. But, that is something that I don't have anything really directly to do. It is my father-in-law is part owner of that company, and it's a friendly thing, a favor that I did for them. It's a Nicaraguan cigar. It's medium to full, very rich, very complex. That typical Nicaraguan and it's doing very good for them in Russia. They're very happy.
Now, does it pair very well with vodka? Did you have that in mind when you blended it?
Listen, there's things that I'm not I get. The funny thing is that I get so many gifts from my Russian friends that bring me vodka, and then I wind up giving it to my father-in-law that likes it because I've never been a fan of or gin or vodka or any of that stuff. My stuff is rum and whiskey.
Cheers.
So this
Cheers
cigar,
to that, Jose.
yeah. So this cigar, it's not a Las Cumbres Tabaco cigar, then it's a Joya cigar.
No. It was made at JDN. They bought it from JDN, and then Nesca distributed there in Russia. That's the story on that.
Okay.
As God is my witness.
Jose, how have you incorporated your experiences that you gained from La Aurora and Joya de Nicaragua into your new venture? Were there things that you kind of identified as doing really well, and other things that you're like, well, I don't want to make that mistake again? Can you give us kind of some examples how you applied your experiences to your new venture?
Look, the first thing you have to do when you're making a cigar, and I've told this millions of times, because I bump into a whole bunch of people, especially a lot of the newcomers, and they come up to me, they say, look, this is, I want you to smoke these 2 cigars. When you have to get give me your opinion. Of course, I always come back from the show with at least 100, 150 samples, and I love to do it. But then I ask them, what are you looking for? Well, they tell me, I want to make a cigar like Pepin. I want to make a cigar like Abel. I want to make a cigar like so-and-so. So, I don't say anything, but when you're creating a cigar, you have to make something that's totally different. Like when people try this, they will say, this is not a King Años, this is not a 1495, this is not a 107, this is not Cuenqui Blanco, this is nothing like that. This is the most strongest cigar that I've ever blended. It's on a scale of 1 to 10, it's 9 on body and it's 10 on flavor. But that said, it's very rich, very complex, it's earthy, some spice. I mean, it's a flavor bomb, but it has a lot of character to it. So the same way that when I went to Joya de Nicaragua and I did CYB, the people, I would ask them, does it taste like anything you did? People say no. That gratifies me. Now, going to your question, of course, with all the years that I spent at La Aurora and the 2 years that I spent at Joya and, visiting Pepin and hanging out with Jonathan all the time and talking about tobacco all the time, you learn things. But like I said, at the end of the day, you have to make something that's unique. I mean, when you ask $10 for a cigar, it has to be worth $12.
Yeah.
You cannot take today, make a fancy band, make a fancy box, do all this advertising, do all this swag, and then you have a cigar that's worth 50 cents. I mean, take my word on it. Those days are over. And, now with social media, you guys doing what you do, that you're good at it, explaining about cigars, bringing in great people so people can hear, people learn about it. And look, are the ratings important? Of course they're important. I mean, don't kid yourself. You'll see people saying, well, cigar aficionado this, cigar aficionado that. I don't care what anybody says. At the end of the day, if you're on the top, if you're 5, your sales are going to go up at least 15, 20%. If you're on the top 3, you're going to go 30 or 40. Or if you're 1 and 2, your sales could probably go 40 or 50% up more. And that is a fact.
Do you have concerns about blending a strong cigar that you may turn some people off, especially with, I don't know, in my estimation, the trend being towards more mild Ecuadorian, Connecticut, and medium-bodied cigars?
Well, to be honest, what I have seen is that people that really like those very, very, very strong cigars, they've gone down a bit. Because mine, it's like I said, I'm using tobaccos that are 3 or 4 years old, and it's not gonna appeal to the majority of people. That we know for a fact, but it's gonna be unique. It's gonna be different. It's something like I said, I don't want to make a cigar that's gonna, if you try to make a cigar for everybody to like, you wind up making a cigar that no one really loves.
So are you have plans or working with anyone else like EPC or maybe Skip Martin? There's a question from the chat room from Zedman. Are there collaborations that you?
No. I'm friends with Skip. I mean, he's doing a great job and all that. I mean, he's another league. Even as a small manufacturer, he's doing something different totally from everybody. Then with Ernesto, of course, a lot of people see me that I post cigars about Ernie. Why? Because I've known Ernie for a long time. We talk a lot. When I go to Santiago, I'll spend 3, 4, 5 hours with Ernie talking cigars, talking about the industry and all that. Because he's a person that you could sit down and you can learn from him, you could exchange from him, but at the same time, he's asking questions. Everybody sees all the time that when I go to Santiago, I always bring back cigars from Ernie. And I post about them because he gives them to me. He wants me to smoke them. I call him, I tell him I like this I don't like. Because, at the end of the day, I'd rather somebody tell me, look, I don't like your cigar, but I want someone to tell me, why don't you like it? Is it too strong, too one-dimensional? Does it lack balance? Does it not have a long fish? Does it lack aroma? Is it too sweet? Is it too mild? Is it too spicy? I mean, those are the things that help you. But when you give a cigar to somebody and he just tells you, well, I don't like it, then you ask him, why you don't like it? And he goes like, He's not helping you. I'd rather give a cigar to somebody and tell me all the negatives about a detail one by one than just tell them, well, I don't like it.
Right. How have you, in your new blend, how have you balanced the nicotine strength? Because that, can kind of have a tendency to overpower or turn some people off. What are some of the tricks that you use to make a stronger cigar but still make it flavorful without overpowering on the nicotine strength?
Look, to be honest, the secret on that is when you're using 3-4-year-old tobaccos that you can identify that have a lot of character. Like, a lot of people say, well, I use Piloto Cubano. To be honest, there's very few people who use Piloto Cubano here. They use a lot of Criollo 98, they use a lot of San Vicente, they use Aurora. And it's not that these tobaccos are bad or anything, they're good tobaccos, but it's when you have a farm like Hochi has in La Canela or the one that he has in Gurabo, or the one that he has. I'll give you an example. Just take the aging room, the tobaccos in that cigar, and it's not because they got the Newton, the number 2 and all that. It's a freaking phenomenal cigar. I mean, and it's all about the tobaccos inside of it. You have to understand, they're using an Indonesian wrapper. You know how many people have tried to make a great cigar with an Indonesian wrapper? Name cigars. If you want, don't name them, but into your head, go and say, okay, who makes a great cigar with an Indonesian wrapper? But the way they blended that cigar and taking those fillers from that farm, look what they came up with. It's an amazing smoke.
Yeah, I've seen them using the binder before. They
Right.
absolutely. Use the wrapper.
Great point.
Stokosana, you had a question in there.
When you're blending, Jose, do you have a particular vitola that you use in the beginning of your process?
It'll be depending on what we're trying to achieve, it'll be a Robusto, it'll be a Corona Gorda. And I think the majority of people, I'm pretty sure, because I've smoked a lot of stuff from a lot of people, they'll go with the, majority of people will go with the Robusto and the Corona Gorda and then build it up. Because see, one of the hardest things, and this is something that people don't understand, no company will ever, if they have 5 or 6 sizes, have the 6 sizes to flavor-wise and strength-wise to be exactly the same. That is the hardest part to get. And the bigger the ring gauge is, the harder to get the balance, the complexity, and to get that cigar in a 6x60 to smoke the same as a Lancero, or to smoke as a Petit Corona 5x38 or just a Corona 5 1/4 by 42. It really takes art, and it takes time, and it really takes great blending skills to come up with the formula to make it to be perfect. So we've taken our time, and I think we're pretty close. But at the end of the day, it will be people like yourselves and the magazines and the different blogs and the different sites that will tell us what they think.
So, Jose, with the 60 ring gauge, did you do anything different with the Senor? Based on some of the challenges with that?
To be honest, that size was the size that it took us more time, because after we had the final blend on that, we had to reformulate everything. I'll give you an example. You're using in a Robusto, let's say 5 leaves, and you're using, let's say, 1 leaf of Ligero, 2 leaves of Viso, and 1 leaf of Seco. A lot of people will do the same proportion on a 6x60, and that's why some cigars are off. So what you have to do really is to bring up the proportion of the Ligeros to create that. Because one of the misconceptions that people have is that people think that the bigger the ring gauge, the more flavor and the more strength. I remember at the seminars, I would ask people, okay, which has more strength, a 40 ring gauge or a 60 ring gauge? The majority of people would say it's 60, because it's misconceptions that people have. Now, if you tell me, and this is something that I did the year before, I asked around 150 people, between people of social media, store owners, and just consumers, what do you think about the fat of the ring gauge? And this is what people said. People said, you have to see it as a value thing. Second, you have to see it as a macho thing. And third, you have to see it as an American thing. That's the conclusion that I came up with. I've talked to a lot of people, and I don't know what you guys agree with that or not.
Absolutely.
Sturgeson and I think Will, so you guys have some questions for Jose about boutiques.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll actually start, and then I'll turn it over to Stogie Santa. What do you consider your company to be a boutique company?
No, I don't consider myself a boutique anything. I'm just a company, a premium cigar company making cigars. Look, don't get me wrong. I think the word boutique has been kind of overplayed. I mean, I think Coop was at Cigar Safari last year, and I think we had the conversation about what defines boutique. And I mean, there was 8 or 9 different people from social media, and everybody had a different opinion on that. I think that there's not really I mean, what did you define boutique? Because like, is Pete John boutique?
No.
But the funny thing, Jonathan Drew was emphatic that he was boutique, because he was talking about it from the heart and the character of his company. And he looked at it like that, and then other people like me maybe looked at it from a business model, saying, they're too big to be boutique. So,
well, I mean, that would mean anyone with heart and character is a boutique company.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
I'll leave it alone. I'll just leave that alone,
right.
Because
Did you want to follow up with your question?
Well, yeah, I do, because I think the word boutique is so misused, and what I see coming in the shop, everybody thinks it's a emerging company or somebody new. That's and I don't agree with that, but that's what's out there. And that being said, Jose, I got a 2-part question. So if we're using the terminology as boutique or someone new, what do you think about what's coming out new, if we label that as being boutique? And number 2, what advice would you give these new boutique cigars coming out, or if they would ask you, how would they approach that? What answers, or what would you give them for advice?
Look, I'm friends with a lot of them, and we talk, and they give me cigars, and I smoke, and I give opinions about it. Look, there's a lot of them that are doing a great job. Some not so great. But the thing is, I have to make something different. I mean, it cannot be the same. If you look at the advertisement, it all looks alike. If you look at their swag, of their T-shirts and everything, it looks alike. The promotions is all alike. I mean, I've been to places where I see a sign like, so-and-so new company's coming in. You buy one, you get one free. I mean, the first thing you're doing is, hello. I mean, what is it? I mean, I respect what everybody's doing. I might do things a little bit different. For sure, you can be that. I will be doing events For sure, I'll be doing my blending seminars. I will be visiting the shops. I'll be constantly on social media, like everybody sees me. I will be helping. I get at least every day inbox, I would say on Facebook, 18 to 20 people asking me questions, people that have misconception, doubts, asking me advice. I get a lot of emails from people all over the world also, about my articles. Where can they get this? They ask me questions about that. I just published now something in Italy, and we got a lot of feedback from that. But at the end of the day, you have to be different. And when I say different, it's not that you're going to wear a hat, you're going to be in shorts, you're going to be with a Armani suit all the time. I mean, you whatever you want. But at the end of the day, you have to, when you go into the store, you got to be sure what you're talking about. You know, a funny thing is, I've been in shops, and not only newcomers, but people even from old companies, they walk into the shops. Guys sitting in the lounge know more about their own cigar, know more about tobacco, know more about blending, know more about the industry than they do. So when you walk into a shop, the first thing, you have to be sure of yourself. It's like when people ask me, or ask them, okay, where's this wrapper from? Well, it's a Connecticut. But Connecticut from where? Is it Connecticut, USA? Is it Connecticut grown in Honduras? Is it grown from Ecuador? Is it from the Pera? Is it from the Oliva? I remember some guy who walked in the shop with a new company, and the guy asked him, well, this is a Connecticut blend. It's Connecticut from where? You know what the guy said? Well, this is only Connecticut from Connecticut. Everybody in the store laughed, and it was Connecticut from Ecuador. He was using Connecticut from Ecuador. He didn't even know that. So the thing is, you have to be, you have to be sure about yourself. You have to be polite. You cannot be arrogant. You cannot be a snob. You cannot think you know it all. I mean, Coop has been in my seminar. The first thing I tell people, look, if somebody ever comes here and tells you he knows everything there is to know about tobacco, you hear the guy out, and as soon as you get home, you hit delete. He doesn't know shit.
Yeah. I tell you, this is what we need so desperately up in the Rhode Island area is having Jose doing a seminar, because it would be it's seriously, because it's a great answer to the question I ask is don't bullshit anyone. You know,
I learned. I've been through the seminar.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
No, when he comes into Paul's spot, when Jose comes in, and every time I have a conversation with him, I learn more and more and more and more. More than anyone, and I'm not just saying it because Jose is on the show. He enlightens me more than most.
I've gone through it, I think, 3 times the seminar, and every time I learned something. It shows how much I don't know.
Right, exactly. Thank you. And whatever you put in his cigar, it's going to be, at his age, the energy level that he has is incredible. Incredible.
Absolutely.
It's mind-boggling. Anyway.
Jose,
and one of the things, guys, to be honest, I mean, look, Uncle Benji now retired from General. He did, he would do 2 or 3 seminars a year. Hanky Kellner would do 2 or 3 seminars a year. I've done over 600 seminars. I've done seminars in Macedonia, Serbia, Sweden, Mexico, Argentina, all over the States, Canada. I will be doing more seminars. I'm going to Thailand next month. I'll be doing 2 seminars there. I mean, I was in Hong Kong for business, and then I went to Shanghai, and Lily Wang from Cigar Ambassador all of a sudden got 50 people together in the shop, and I mean, I arrived on a Monday, and on a Wednesday already she had 50 people at the shop. And I mean, I'm talking about places where they have Cubans and all these different types of cigars, and they said that they've never seen, anybody come in and enlighten them about so many things. And at the end of the seminar, I always ask you, what have you learned? And, the majority of people said, I thought I knew about cigars, I don't know shit, or I have a lot to learn. And that's why we need to educate people. Absolutely. I mean, to be honest, if I had to, be the person to give the guidelines to the companies, I would say every company has to educate the consumer and the store owners. You know what? At the end of the day, when you have consumers, media people, and store owners more educated, makes our job much easier.
Very good. The educated consumer is the best.
So speaking of, along the lines of education, Jose, we come up with this question every once in a while, and this comes from Brandon K in the chat, and it's a great question. How should you cut your cigar? I don't know if we asked this when he was on the show before or
I don't
not.
think we did.
Will. So, I mean, do you punch a cigar? Do you cut a cigar with a straight cut? Do you use a V cut? Or does it really matter?
Listen, at the end of the day, I use a straight cut. And I will only use a punch. I don't even have a punch. But, you know, sometimes you're without a cut or somebody offers you a punch. I will only use a punch if it's a ring gauge less than maybe max 46. And I'll tell you why. And this is something that I shouldn't say it because a lot of my friends make accessories. But when I see somebody picking up a 60 ring gauge and they use that bullet on it, and I hear like a quarter of the cigar or maybe towards half the cigar, oh, this is a cigar is a little bit bitter, and I look at it and I look the hole and I take out my cutter and I straight cut it and I give it to them. And they say, well, you know, the bitterness has disappeared. Well, what people don't understand is that tar starts to build up, and because that hole is so small, it's not going to get out. I mean, the V cut, it's good. The straight cut, I mean, I saw something that makes like a lot of little holes in it. I mean, I don't know if it sells. It's okay. I'm not the person that's going to tell people not to use it, but I just use a straight cut. I think that's that, and also the V cut. A lot of people like it. I'm not a big fan of the V cut.
No, me either.
Me neither.
Yeah, me neither. I'm not sure why that is. Along those lines, is how you light the cigar, what you light the cigar with, because of course, like you said, there's lots of
tell
accessories.
people, you can light a cigar with matches, with a bink, with a flint, with a cricket lighter, with anything you want, except a Zippo with gas. Every time I see somebody smoking lighting up a cigar with a Zippo with gas, and then they start to complain about the cigar, what they don't understand that as soon as they put that up and those fumes of that fluid goes directly to the cigar, what a lot of people don't understand either is that tobacco is one of the things in life that more can absorb any strange note of anything very, very fast.
Except if you have a Zippo with a butane like I have. So
Of course.
I was cheating.
Oh, when I saw that, when you told me to fill it up, I says, I know
you were going to say
that.
that.
Yeah, I looked at it. Anyway, we'll stay on track. But it's...
Listener Harley has an interesting question that I've actually not added into my rotation of questions to ask people. But what question would you like to answer that you've never been asked? That was pretty good.
What question?
They've never been asked. Wow.
Look, guys,
Jesus.
when you've been smoking for 46 years and doing this for a long time, I mean, I don't think there's any answer in the world that people haven't asked me. I saw something interesting today in Facebook. It was like, name 3 people that you would have liked to smoke a cigar with. I was surprised how many people said Kennedy, and a lot of people did not say Churchill. I would have liked to smoke a cigar with Churchill. I would like to smoke a cigar with Patton, and probably the other person would have been Ulysses S. Grant. 3 big cigar smokers.
All military guys, Jose.
All military, yeah.
Do you have a military background? Family-wise?
No, I don't have a military background. Even though my father was a World War II vet, he was wounded and everything, and I have a lot of respect for the military. I'm a big supporter of Cigars for Warrior, and every time I see some assholes saying that they do not respect our armed forces and they sleep well at night, well, to be honest, I don't have a lot of thing to talk with. Person. If you're against the war, I respect that. But when you disrespect our troops that keep our country safe, I mean, we could have a fit.
Let's move on. I think we all feel that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey,
one of the other listeners, and I'm going to have to ask for forgiveness. I forgot who it was, but they were asking. other cigars that you like. I'd like to expand on that a little bit. You're sort of an elder statesman at this point, right? And you're well respected. Are there any up-and-coming brands? You've spoken about boutique blends, but is there any other people that are coming up that you really like the way that they're, A, making cigars and B, representing the industry?
Listen, I have 2 or 3 people that I like, but the problem is that if I say who they are, the other ones that like me a lot too would say, well, why not me?
Yeah.
Why so and so? But I think if people see what I post on Instagram and they see what I write on Facebook, and I think people have a pretty good idea of what it is. Don't get me wrong. I think, to be honest, if you look at our industry before the boom, during the boom, and after the boom, in my years of experience, I can guarantee you that the best cigar that I've smoked outside the Cubans, because we would have to do like 3 shows to really get into that, have been in the last 6 or 7 years, without a doubt.
Wow.
Cigars today are more rich, more complex, more balanced. Because you got to remember, before all this, you would only have 5 types of wrapper. It was Indonesian, Cameroon, Connecticut, Maduro, and Candela. That was it. It was 5 wrappers. But what happens now? You take like in Ecuador you're growing Habana Vuelta Arriba, Corojo 2000, Sumatra, Habano. In Brazil, you have Corojo, Matafina, Norte, Arapiraca. You have in Dominican, Nicaragua, and Honduras, Criollo 98, Corojo 99, Habano, and a lot of hybrids that a lot of people have come up with. So now you have more tobaccos. Before, I would have heard of people using tobacco from Peru. You know how much tobacco from Peru is used? Look, Negro San Andres from Mexico. You know the amount of people that are using wrappers from Mexico. You know they're earthy. They burn very well. You would never hear of people using tobacco. And there's tobaccos now that have been developed in different countries that are now in a stage of experimentation that we will probably be seeing in 2 or 3 years. Companies that are investing hundreds and millions of dollars to develop different types of tobacco. So, I mean, right now, in my personal opinion, cigars right now, they've never been better. And I think, to be honest, the best is yet to come.
Ooh. Well, you had a question about online media.
Yeah, so, thanks, Paul. So Jose, no question you're active in online media, and recently, a lot of us in the online media formed the Cigar Media Association, and we did that for various reasons because we really wanted the industry to kind of take the guys who are serious to take them seriously. We wanted to start, working more around a good code of ethics, so we could really give online media a good name because sometimes it's had a black eye. So I was involved with that, so I'm biased, obviously, but I'm just curious, and you can be totally candid here. What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on the Cigar Media Association for online media?
Look, to be honest, everybody knows that when I was in the advisory committee for IPCPR, it was me and maybe somebody else who stood up and defend the media. The problem is that there's a lot of people who are doing a great job, and unfortunately for those who are not doing a great job has been the problem. I mean, I'm not going to name people or the sites, but how can you as a manufacturer, somebody call you or write to you like, okay, I want to review your cigars. You have 5 different lines. You have 10 different sizes. I need a box of each cigar for you to for me to review your cigars. Are you freaking out of your mind? Mm-hmm. Am I going to give you 70 boxes of cigars for you to review cigars? Because the problem is you have to understand how did this start before? The majority of people on social media, the people that were doing, they would go out and buy cigars. And that's one of the things I said at the advisory committee. Like when I was at La Aurora, I would have anything that we would come out with prepared in bags, and I would be calling Jerry Cruz, I would be calling Walt White, I would be calling the guys at that time that were doing and giving it to them. But unfortunately, now you got 150, 200 people that want samples, and they think they're authorities and all that. And it can, to be honest, it cannot be that way. There has to be a control of that, because then all of a sudden, as you have a lot of people already that have faded out of their sites because, you know, nobody's getting hits, nobody's sending them cigars. You have to respect yourself. I like a lot of people, when they do their reviews, they say this cigar was, they even say the store, this cigar was at XX store, or they say this cigar was sent by the company. I have a lot of respect for that. But the other thing is, you cannot, because you get free cigars from some company, and that's where they don't understand is, how are you going to post all day long about X company, that the X company makes the greatest cigar, and all of a sudden you're posting pictures all day on your social media, your personal one, only smoking that cigar. People put two and two together and says, I'm not even going to go to that site anymore because this guy is being very biased. Even when I come out with Señorial and you don't like the cigar, just write about what you think, because that's the way it should be. And people and companies should not get offended when some site gives them a bad rating. Now, do some sites go very, very low and others go very, very high? Well, that's the way they work.
That's a good point.
Yep.
That's a really, really good point.
But also, not only that, you have to have, as a person, you have to be honest. You have to have integrity, and you have to know, if you want to build up your name, you have to do a review the way it should be, because all of a sudden you're writing a great review about a cigar. 10, 20, 30, 40 people go out, buy the cigar, and it's a bad cigar. You lose your credibility right away.
Yep.
True.
Absolutely.
I could be wrong. Don't get me wrong. But
no, it's
that's
just constructive criticism, what you want to do and how to make it better.
Yeah.
With the right commentary behind why it's wrong or right.
Yep, exactly. I mean, that's what we've tried to do here, I think, and hopefully we've done it well.
True.
All the good people in the media do, though.
Yep.
I agree.
Indeed. But you know, what you have to see is this. You have a lot of great people, but then you have some people that the way they handle themselves, it's what makes a lot of people and companies and the IPCPR and people that, you know, do these events like, do I really want these people here? Because then you're judged in the same, judged in the same category that others are. And you're not. You guys are different. There's a lot of people that are totally different. I mean, people who travel, people who buy their cigars. I mean, somebody asked me for cigars, I mean, and he's somebody that's not credible. I don't know how I'm going to deal with it, but, we'll see. But, if somebody that I know has a respectable a blog and it's been doing it and does it well, of course it will be my pleasure, to send them, if I have 5 different sizes, 2 cigars of each one for rating. I don't have a problem with that. But you can't keep calling every day companies, I want cigars, I want cigars, I want cigars, I want cigars. It's getting to a point that it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's amazing because there's guys who, they fall off. They get, Jose, a lot of guys who, I think I was talking about this before the show, they get into media, they're passionate about cigars, and then they get in the media, and then they suddenly realize it's work. And then they fall off. And then they wonder, hey, this company ain't sending me stuff anymore. Well, yeah, you're not providing them feedback. And the important thing is to provide the feedback either one way or another. And sometimes, we look at private feedback and say maybe that's another way to do it, where if we've had an issue. And we'll do that, certainly. Mm-hmm. But it's very important that the media maintains that credibility, I think, in terms of being responsive to the industry.
Coop, credibility is the key word, not only for media, for anything in life. Yep. People ask me in production or in cigars, what do you think is the most important thing? Or just tell me a word that you would use for that. I said there's actually 3 words. It's consistency, consistency, consistency. Absolutely. And for me, media should be credibility, credibility, credibility.
Absolutely.
Jose, what are you smoking?
Oh, no.
I'm smoking one of the final blends of what could be a Lancero for Señorial.
But not Lancero, I said
there
it.
Yet. We're close, but not there yet.
I have one question. My last question. Jose, you put some unbelievable blends out there. One of my favorites was the CYB on the Lonsdale. What happened to be one of my favorites.
Yep.
If you had one sentence to describe your new cigar being that statement that you made, the best ever, what would that sentence be?
The sentence would be
Or statement. I mean, you know, I was lucky enough to smoke one. You sent it to the shop. I just see what your response on that. I mean, I agree, but I just want to see what would you could say that your statement towards this new blend to come out with that statement.
well, that's I don't know. I mean, I use the word sometimes unique. I mean, it's something like, look, it's something like I've never done before, and it's like, to be honest, I've taken all the time. I mean, at the factory since we got back, since I finished with Joya. I mean, I would say full body, growing in flavor, very complex, very rich.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. That's something, you know, sometimes in the
okay.
interviews they surprise you, and I mean, it's
Oh, it's going to be a hit, no doubt. But what I was smoking,
it's look.
And
It's an amazing cigar. I mean, today, anybody who saw me on media, I always go to my friend Jose Sejas, which I have the utmost respect, and I don't know if any of you already smoked the Matilde. It's a great cigar. I mean, Jose did a great job with that. And talking with Jose, he was smoking Señoría for the second time, and he told me, this is an amazing smoke. What you guys have done, what you've done at Tabacalera Palma, those tobacco, it's something. This is going to be something that a lot of people will talk about it. I mean, I don't want to go on talking about the cigar, but
that's what we're here for.
At the end of the day, this is going to be it's a great cigar.
Mm-hmm. Thank you,
Jose.
I would say no matter how the body grows, the flavor grows even more. It's something like that. It's very, very unique. It's like nothing I've done before.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited.
Mm-hmm. Like he was saying, it sneaks up.
Jose, are you ready to play 5 questions with the Stogie Geeks?
Oh.
Well, some of them I will just say, no hablo, no hablo.
No mas.
Probably going to be one you're going to say that too. Ready? 3 words to describe yourself.
Now, first of all, is your wife listening?
Of course she's listening.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Maybe 4.
5
4
questions.
She does all the social media.
God bless her.
3 words to describe yourself.
3 words to describe myself. I would say honest, humble, and a person that perseveres a lot.
If you were a serial killer, what would be your weapon of choice?
Serial killer probably would be, I would probably say an M16.
That's my guy.
You should see the face my wife made.
That's what I'm saying.
So when you're
That's why
things with guns,
it's getting better. It's getting better. Wait.
If you wrote a book about yourself, what would the title be?
The title, The Life of a Tobacco Man.
In the popular game of Ask Grabby Grabby, do you prefer to go first or second?
On the what?
It's popular in Europe.
It's popular in Europe. What's it called?
Ask Grabby Grabby.
Ask Grabby Grabby.
First or second?
No hablo inglés.
No hablo inglés.
No mas.
Now, you answered this, people who are no longer with us, but if you could have dinner with one celebrity who's still alive, who would it be?
With a celebrity that's alive, who would I have dinner with? It would probably be Robert De Niro.
Right.
Good choice.
Good choice.
I like it.
He's a big cigar smoker.
And he's got to be a cool guy, right? Like, you got to figure that guy's cool, right?
Absolutely.
I'll talk to him. We'll get him on the show.
There you go.
We'll make it
I
happen.
wonder if he wants to go first or second in the popular.
It don't
game of
matter.
Mass
He can go
Graphic.
third,
Yeah.
fourth, or fifth.
Even though I got to tell you something, and a lot of people know it, I've been friends with Jim Bellucci for a long, long time, and I was in Chicago last year. I don't know how he found out I was at the Diana shop, and we spoke more than an hour at the shop. He even wanted to stay for the seminar, but him and Dan Aykroyd had something going on, and I think he wanted to go to I think it was the Blackhawks were in the final, something like that. But he is one of the people that I've met celebrity that's really, really down to earth. The same thing with John Sally. I mean, John Sally and I just spent last year 4 days here in Casa de Campo at the TAA, and he's really down to earth, and he is a gentleman and a real big supporter of the industry.
The cigar bad boy, huh?
Yes. Yes.
Hey, it's all good.
Jose, thank you very much for appearing again here on the Stogie Geek Show. It was a pleasure having you, as always. I can't wait to smoke your new cigar when it comes out. So we'll be certain to, of course, review that on the show.
Yep.
And smoke lots of them.
Yep.
So thank you very much,
Guys,
Jose.
the only thing I can tell you is thanks for having me again. It's always a pleasure, and I always get a lot of tweets, direct messages, a lot of compliments from guys. But also, what a lot of people don't understand, and I tell them that, the show would not be good if you don't have good guys running it and asking the questions. Because to be honest, sometimes I get on. When I have time, I hear bits and bits of some programs that people get on. And to be honest, the guy they're interviewing is great. But if you don't have guys asking great questions, I mean, there's no way that the show will be entertaining and interesting, but also a learning factor for a lot of people. So, anytime you can get in people, it's always good to get their view of what they think about education, how they can help out, because at the end of the day, I tell you, when I go to the shops and now, because of Twitter, I put, to be in so-and-so shop, and, from 10 to 12, people even go out of work, make excuses, show up, and, they sit down and they ask questions. So you can see the eagerness of people really want to learn about tobacco. So if you can get one day, some guy maybe that's been living there a long time, a roller that, knows good English, and you could, pick his brain, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? What happens when, you're working with this tobacco? Those are things that people want to hear. I don't think that anybody has ever done a show with a roller, actually.
Yeah.
Well, if you could make an introduction, we'd definitely be more than willing to do it.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe Coop could find someone.
Coop,
I think, yeah.
dig into the Rolodex, my friend.
We'll have to dig into that. That's a really good. We have not done that. That's an excellent.
Jose, thank you very much for appearing on the Stogie Geek Show.
Thank you, Jose.
Thank you, Jose.
No,
It was a
thanks,
pleasure,
guys, for
Jose.
having
My
me.
pleasure.
Have a good night, and keep
God
up the
bless.
good work.
Thank you.
Thank you,
God
Jose.
bless you and the family.
Thank you. Take care. I think the show went well.